Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do a DIY Dollar Tree $5 bird cage. I was so excited to bring you this DIY, you have no idea. We're going to use one of these hanging baskets, sans the chains. We're going to use a charger. I picked the silver one, but we're going to spray paint it, but that's up to you. We're going to use a set of cooling racks. Yes, cooling racks, I know, sounds crazy. And then one of these cups. You get two in the set. We're going to use the small one, but I really wish I would have found this one because it would have looked so much nicer. It's for the topper. We're also going to use one book ring. I didn't include this in the price. A, I had them, but B, 1/6 of a dollar. It's like hardly. And then of course you're going to need wire cutters and pliers, as well as our drill gun. And that's sort of like not mandatory, but there's other ways. The footage got lost on this again. I'm so sorry, but only thing you missed so far was I put the basket onto the charger and I marked all 9 points. Then I took my drill bit just with a small hole big enough for the wires of this wire rack, and I drilled through each of those, all those spots, each one of those 9 spots. All right. Now, I learned from Amber over at Southern Girl Can that this wire rack comes apart really easily. So thank you, Amber. But what I went ahead and I just took my wire cutters and I clipped just to get just the uprights. I don't want the cross braces on there. And we're going to need 9 of them. But I cut 10 just in case I snapped one in half or whatever. But you could get about 12 or 14 on this if you know with the one package of racks. And of course you could always use the frames for something else. Now this bird cage does not have a door, and I'll show you at the very end how we can decorate it. But if you want to make a functioning bird cage, I would just suggest to go ahead and give it a bottom ring strong enough to hold the bird cage in place, all the wires in place. But what we're doing is we're bending each one over, just making a really quick hook, one like you saw there for a second, and we're just hooking each one over on one end. We're only going to work on one end at a time. Oh, I also didn't put the picture in there that you're going to need some floral wire. I'm sorry about that. I was gifted some silver floral wire. That's what I'm going to use, but Dollar Tree sells floral wire as well. And you're not even going to use enough to make it worth, money. So here's what we're doing. We're hooking the part that's circular, we're going to call that the cross brace, and the parts that come down, we're going to call them the uprights. So we're hooking around the upright, and we're twisting the 2 pieces or squeezing the 2 pieces together on the inside of the cross brace. So basically inside the circle, right? And then you're going to hook on the outside of that bar, and then you're going to squeeze them on the inside of the circle. And now you're going to take some floral wire and you're just going to wrap it around in both directions, basically. Diagonally is always the best. Whenever I had to go across, I went ahead and I did that over the metal of the planter because it's just a little bit stronger of wire. Now, I will tell you from making this and learning that the garden trellis is now this beautiful same coated black metal like this basket. It's just a little bit not as sturdy as the basket. However, I think that would look really nice if you have somebody strong enough to bend the wires for you. I did not find it very, very pliable with my arthritis, but those would have been perfect for this actually. And I may go back and get some more and make another one of these because I actually bought stuff to make 2. But you're just going to repeat it to all 9 of the uprights. So just to go over it again, each one of these wires has a hook on the end. You're basically hooking the one of the 9 wires just on the inside of the basket itself, and then you're going to pinch it closed and then wrap the joint in wire. Okay, Now I am spray painting my whole basket ivory. I don't know if you noticed in the thumbnail. And then I'm going to show you two different ways to dress it, but of course dress it any way you want to. I actually wanted to, I was thinking about making this for my head wig, but not to put head wig in because head wig likes to be free. I'm sorry, I'm such a Harry Potter nerd. But I was going to make it purposefully big enough to hold Hedwig, however, fill it with stuff that was not her. Okay? Just sort of imagine if, I don't know, imagine if you really went to Hogwarts and you really had an owl, but you didn't want your owl to be caged, so you used her cage for something else. That's what I was going for. All right? We're almost done. That was sort of the best one, I think, that you could see. So you want to basically hook it on that upright and then squeeze it on the inside and then stand it straight up. Now this is, I will tell you, a little bit wonky when it's standing because we're making it so quick and easy that we're not really securing the uprights to the plate. We're just going to feed them through because I designed this to hang. If you're going to make it where you want it to actually stand, then you want to support your uprights a little bit better. And I think the best way to do that is maybe double up the wires. You also want to make sure you measure that they're all the same length as they come through the plate. And I think you'll see what I mean in a second. Because right now I'm not measuring any of them. I didn't measure exactly how far to bend over the wires. I mean, what I did was I actually just took my needle nose. I made sure I grasped it on all the things on all the same sides, and then twisted it around. So I guess they're pretty close. But I didn't make sure that they were all the exact same size when I started either. So with the basket still on its top, you want to go ahead and carefully feed all of the wires through all of the holes on the plate. This does take a tiny bit of extra maneuvering, but not too much. And then as you can see, I'm bending the wires twice. I'm not only bending them in the same way we bent them before, but once we have a hook, we're going to lay that hook down. Okay? Now we're going to move on to our cup. And this is how we're going to attach our ring, basically a hanger. And this, what to me, makes it feel like a finished, birdcage. So I marked 2 points where I wanted the ring to go through. You want to make sure that you give it a enough room apart, is what I'm saying, so that they fit. So I just divoted the from the outside, from the top, I just put a little tiny divot where I wanted to mark, and then I turned it inside out, put it up against the board, used that flathead, like little Phillips head screwdriver to just create 2 holes in there. And then I made the holes bigger by wiggling the screwdriver in there, okay? Then you want to make sure that you can get your ring in there. Now I actually had to go ahead and make it even bigger at one point, one of the sides, but you just work with it until you have. It also depends on what size ring you use. Also if you're using something else, like an adjustable bracelet or something, okay? Now that I have it all set, you can go ahead and put a ton of hot glue on that binder ring if you want, so it doesn't open and close. That's entirely up to you. What we're doing then is we're going to take some more of the floral wire. I've created a tiny little U, skinny U, a really, really long skinny U. And I fed it into the mesh of the paperclip holder at the 3 points where, basically at 3 points, because the thing has 9 racks, so it's kind of in thirds. So you just want to be able to put it on there evenly. And what I did was I tied the first 2 on kind of loose, then I tied the third one on, tried to make it even, laid it on its side to go ahead and twist all the wires closed. But you just want to make sure it's as even as possible. Again, there's no real skill. So far we haven't had any real skill, right guys? I mean, tapping holes and using the drill bit probably is the biggest skill. I did want to use the hot knife that I was gifted. Basically, it's a wood burning tool to go through that plastic, and I'm sure it would have. However, my husband misplaced it. He said, "I'm sorry, I don't know what happened to it." But I'm just going to take a piece of this garden trellis. Like I mentioned, we're just going to need a little piece of the garden trellis. Wait, I didn't mention that we needed the garden trellis. All right, you need a garden trellis. But we're just going to use one of the outside loops of the garden trellis. They're extra long, and I'm bending it into a circle. I basically took the other hanging basket that I had and bent it around there just to get that circular shape. Then I'm going to fit it over the bird cage and get some electrical tape. You could probably use hot glue. This is actually a kind of tiny piece of Gorilla Tape, and to close it off. Then when I have that closed off area, I want to go ahead and wire the middle ring that we just created to all of the uprights as well. We're doing this for not only stability, but also to give it that visual breakup. Like I said, and I'll show you at the end, we could make this bird cage much smaller. I kind of show you later. I lift the plate up with the stuff on it just to show you how it would look if it was a little bit shorter of a bird cage. But if it was shorter, it would never hold Hedwig. Just saying. But it would look really visually appealing if it was, and it would be more sturdy if it was shorter. Okay? But it is adjustable, because all you have to do is turn it upside down, slide that plate up, and then bend the wires shorter, I guess is the best way to put it. Okay? Now each one of these uprights with the cooling rack on it has a little nub, and I'll show you here in a second that black wire fits perfectly, and like basically you know where it is evenly around, because all of the baking rack wires have these little nubs on them. And sorry, it's the best visual I can get for the side here, but you can kind of see, you just rest the black cross brace across the little nub, and you do the same wiring technique. In and out on the diagonal. I like the use of wire. I wish I would have had, well, I shouldn't say that. I do have some of the thicker floral wire that you can get from the Dollar Tree, and I thought that would look prettier, but it actually doesn't. So you can try it if you're better at manipulating that wire, that would look nice. But I like the little wire, because I kind of feel like if you actually got a bird cage, it might be wired together. There's a very good possibility. So then I cut off the extra, and I just bend the extra around and around and around. I didn't do any extra fastening. I didn't glue the end of the wire down. I just made sure that it bent around the back and squeezed it tight with my fingers. And then I'll do one more for you here on high speed, on super, super high speed. And then that's it. Okay, so now we're going to take it outside and we're going to spray paint it. This is the white spray paint that I got from Hobby Lobby. I got it with a 50% off coupon. It was originally $9.99. Oh no, a 40% off coupon. It was originally $9.99. I got it for $6 and change. But it is a chalk finish spray paint as well, and this is what it looks like all done. So I want to show you how we're going to do some different ways to decorate this. So hang on. And before we get into that, the bottom of this plate is black. I just left it black. If you're going to hang this high and you're going to see the underside, you might want to consider spray painting it ivory. But to me, if I bought a bird cage that was ivory, it might have a black bottom anyway, so I just left that. But here I'm putting candlesticks in there, and I want to show you that even though it doesn't come apart, the top and the bottom, you can fit a lot of things between the wires. The wires are slightly flexible, which is really good, and they do spring back into place, which is even better. What I'm stuck in there is the two Dollar Tree candlestick holders with two of my pillar candles. One is a little taller than the other, so it kind of gives that height differentiation. And then I've stuck in just a bouquet of hydrangea, a bouquet of hyacinths. I didn't do anything to them. So if you are going to display this in a centerpiece or something, you want to make sure you get a 360-degree arrangement, but this is just coming off the one side in the front. And I've taken two of my ivy strands. These were actually from Home Interiors, but I've had them for about 25 years. Actually, they're older than Jim. No, I'm just kidding. But I just stuck them in and draped them down off the sides and vined them up through the top. But Dollar Tree does sell ivy vines, but I have these, so I didn't need to buy those. Okay? But if you're going to use the ivy vines from the Dollar Tree, you might think about getting maybe a couple of different bushes as well as the ivy vines. It would look pretty that way. And here's how it sort of looks like a romantic look. I kind of feel like this is a very ethereal sort of romantic look as well. And then just to give you guys an idea, sort of a neoclassic look almost. And then here's sort of the farmhouse feel of it. So I want to show you that this little tiny tin from the Dollar General actually fits in there perfectly, as well as this one that I was gifted. And then we're going to take these two little lavender bushes from the Dollar Tree and just stick them in. I've thrown some of the moss pebbles down just to give the second one a little height in the big bucket. And then I'm just going to add some extra flowers. These, I fell in love with these. These are geraniums. These are pink geraniums from the Dollar Tree. Not all time, but this is my favorite flower of the season. They do have these giant white flowers that I love too, so let me take that back. But these are my second favorite flower of the season. So I'm just sticking a couple of the blossoms in the buckets with the little pouches of lavender. And then we're going to go ahead and add some cute little things. This is a set of salt and pepper shakers that look like milk bottles. So I got it at the 99-cent only store. So I'm just going to stick one in them. I've tried two, one laying down, one standing up. It was okay, but just one is really the look that really is really cute. And then I'm going to add the little tiny mason jar from the Dollar Tree. That's a set of two as well that you get for $1, but I'm just going to use one. And then I'm just going to take some of this is my birthday flower. And I'm going to just lay it down. Oop, drop that. But that's larkspur. I found it this year at the Dollar Tree as well. And I used the purple one just to lay in front, just to give it a little bit more zhuzh. And here's where I'm showing you, if you lift up the tray, how it would look cuter as a shorter bird cage. All you would need to do is to bend the wires in a different spot. That's it. And there it is in its little farmhouse doodads. I like it a lot. I hope you guys do too. Of course, you can embellish the cage itself. You could drape wires between the uprights and make it a fancy scroll work and maybe get some chicken wire or something. But we wanted to make it simple and easy and interchangeable. So I hope you really enjoyed this tutorial. If you do, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions at all, leave them in the comments down below. Don't forget to share this video with friends and family. Anybody you know might be interested in seeing how to make a $5 bird cage plus paint. And if you haven't yet, click subscribe. And when you do, a little bell will pop up. When you ring that bell, YouTube will let you know whenever I upload a new video. And as always, you take care, God bless, and we'll see you next time. Bye! And if you haven't yet, click subscribe. When you do, a bird will pop up.